Urban networks are complex systems of people and technology that constitute our engineered environment. Over the course of thousands of years, we have gone from the first engineered environments composed of a few discrete hand tools and small shelters built around the individual and local community, to the complex urban networks of today that span around the planet, enabling global economic processes to support billions of people. Just 12,000 years ago, as few as 4 million people inhabited the earth, nomads that roamed the land following the seasons. The first humans, being nomadic, would have lived almost completely without fixed technology infrastructure, simply using hand tools and temporary shelters. From about 10,000 years ago, in response to the warming climates at the end of the last ice age, some groups adapted to the changing environment in new ways. These changes in organization would lead to the first major paradigm shift in our engineered environment, what we call the Neolithic Revolution. The Neolithic Revolution was the first major technology revolution. The critical turning point would have been the development of fixed and permanent systems of agricultural production and permanent settlements built around this. Permanent shelters like huts, storage areas, wells for water, agricultural systems for food, fixed pathways, distinct buildings for congregation and ceremony, with all of these being integrated around the community, creating the first urban infrastructure systems. The permanent settlement of humans within fixed communities led to prolonged and sustained technological and economic innovation, giving rise to advanced civilization. Advances in agriculture, irrigation systems, the harnessing of animal muscle as an energy source, and population density would lead to the formation of large settlements in the form of hamlets, which evolved into towns and even cities as the first empires formed. With ever more complex economic and social organizations forming, we started to engineer our environments like never before, building the first human-designed landscapes in the form of urban centers like the ancient cities of Babylon or Damascus. Throughout history, the evolution of our engineered environment has been directly related to our knowledge of the natural environment around us. For much of human history, our scientific knowledge was very limited in scope and depth. The great expansion of this knowledge that happened during the scientific revolution laid the foundations for a massive explosion in technological change, one of the hallmarks of the modern era. The much deeper understanding of our physical environment that modern science brought enabled a new level in our capacities to engineer the natural environment, and gave rise to what has come to be called the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Age was the age of machines. As we tapped into a new energy source, technology became alive, evolving into large mechanical systems. No longer dependent upon human and animal energy sources, we could develop larger and larger mechanical systems powered by artificial energy sources. Instead of technology being built around people, as with the hand tool, increasingly people based their work around machines as they became operators of large industrial machinery that enabled mass production processes. Our technology infrastructure became increasingly defined by mechanized systems that automated physical activities by fueling them with artificial energy sources. This enabled a new scale to our engineered environment as urban centers greatly expanded. Before 1800, there was less than 10% of people living in cities, and there was no overall urbanization. However, this started to change in a substantive way by the beginning of the 1900s, at which time 20% of world population was urban. The development of industrial economies went hand in hand with the development of the nation-state as the social and economic organizational unit of the modern era. During the 19th and 20th century, centralized national governments worked to leverage these new industrial technologies towards building their own national infrastructure systems. The use of the combustion engine to bring artificial energy sources to mass transport began to integrate the infrastructure of whole national economies across broad geographical areas. Across Europe and the U.S., national infrastructure networks were developed during the 19th and early 20th century. National railways in Europe, national road systems like the interstate highways in the U.S., national water systems, telephone networks, centralized broadcast media. By 1950, urbanization had reached 30% around the world, but it was not until the new millennium before we would reach the symbolic tipping point of half of humanity living in urban centers.